obviously Richard Hart had the tweet. He was talking about, first of all, I would want you to, he said basically Team A and B are working to see which one would get to launch first. And he said
Yeah,
PulseX is doing very well. That was very interesting to me because he never talks about PulseChain launch. At least since it didn't launch in May, he very rarely talks about it. Now he's talking about it. So I guess if you
right.
could first shed light on what the Team A and B thing is as a software engineer, as a security engineer, and then you could tell us what that means in terms of when the launch will happen. If you have a time frame you have in mind that in which you think it would launch in.
Well, I think Team A and B, not to be confused with Red Team and Blue Team, because Red Team and Blue Team it actually comes from a security concept of having someone attack a network and having someone try to defend or try to understand how the attack succeeded and how to fix the attack. So that's Red Team versus Blue Team, kind of, skipping over a lot of details. That's kind of how it works in the industry. So
You're talking a fourth grader. You're talking a fourth grader.
It's like you got somebody attacking and someone trying to learn how to stop the attack that way. And that was all the BSC stuff. So all that's gone away. All the BSC bugs, just throw them away because they don't exist anymore because we're not doing that. We're doing ETH 2.0. So when that happened, I was kind of, Richard talked about, oh, there's not going to be any extra delays, all that stuff. And my first thought was, you just switched the entire network. Like, how? Not that we have a timeline, not that we know not that we know where the roadmap is, and if you change something, not that we'd even know about it, but like that's not no work. There's work to be done. But I thought about it for a while, and then I heard him talk some more about it. And I thought, okay, I'm pretty sure Richard's been planning this. He for months now. He knew ETH 2.0. Maybe in mid-May he was like, oh, I don't know if we're gonna make it or not. I don't know if we're gonna bring it to market.
That was the pivot. That's why I didn't launch, because he's like, we're doing ETH 2.0.
Well, that's one possibility too, I guess. But I think even back then he saw this coming, and he said, okay. And I'm speculating here. Like I imagine he was like, okay, let's let it launch. If it fails, we know what to do. If it succeeds, maybe we'll just fork it because all this BSC stuff is causing all these delays and problems and all this stuff. So in that way, it's kind of bullish on the launch because now we know there's no security problems to take care of. There's no testing really needs to be done. ETH 2.0 they've been testing it. What's it been, a few weeks now? Seems fine. So, and if there is some like crazy bug that comes out, we know ETH 2.0 is going to fix it. We're going to take that patch. Going to be fine. So I think that when the other day when he said the red and blue team or the A and B team, that's something he's had for a while. Like that's something that, it sounds like we joke about the varsity and junior varsity we have, but honestly, I'm not even sure if it's JV and varsity. I think it's more like team A and team B, like literally two teams of competent developers. I mean, maybe one's more senior than the other, whatever, but they are competing on maybe, they probably have a code base. They forked it. They're competing on different features, different ways to go. But I think they're all striving towards the same goal of, okay, maybe there's a decision. Hey, we're going to go this way or we're going to go this way. And, we don't need everyone to work on one way. We want one of you to finish. This is how we incentivize you. Maybe, you get extra tokens or whatever. Not that Richard would ever pay anybody for anything.
No expectations.
Yeah, no expectations, but maybe you get a cool prize if you get this thing to market quicker. So that sounds like what's happening now. And when you said that the other day, I'm not gonna lie, it did give me kind of a tingling feeling of like, whoa, maybe there is a sense of urgency. Maybe Hex Birthday 3 is coming up. Maybe, bottom bear market's coming up. Maybe documentary is ready. I mean, it's just, I believe it's ready. That's just what I believe it's ready. And they're just waiting on Richard to say it's go time. So all the FUD going around, maybe he does have a sense of urgency now, especially since the pivot. He knows a lot of people were kind of, the air went out of the room for a minute of like, oh God, another, delay possibly. So I think he does have more of a sense of urgency than he had, last month or the month before. And now he knows there's a network that we're forking that doesn't have all these bugs too. He's pretty confident in that. So when it launches, I try, there's nothing I can control about it, and everything in life. I try to not worry about things I can't control. So I keep saying January in my own mind, But when we get to December and it's not launched, I'll be like, all right, March must be March. Then I'll just keep pushing it out because I don't want to like worry about it when nothing I can do. But you can't deny. I was talking to Gerardo about this yesterday. Like it is when it launches, like people are excited. When PulseChain is a meme for a reason. Like people are excited for a reason. Like this is like we just talked about a few minutes ago, unlocking an enormous amount of capital, enormous amount of trading opportunities, enormous amount of content that's going to be created from all the tutorials, all the stuff, all the communities are going to finally be like, whoa, PulseChain launched. Oh, that's amazing. Let me come over now. All that stuff is going to happen. And so people are excited for a reason. I don't know why they get so depressed and so anxious and so ask Richard for a refund, like figuratively and literally.
Like there's expectations.
As if there were expectations.
Yeah.
Like he promised you there would be no expectations. That's the only promise he ever made is you expect nothing. So expect nothing. And, you know, if you have no desires, you have no disappointments. I would look at it that way.
Yeah. So this was actually my take in one of the recent videos. It's like nobody should be complaining about PulseChain not coming out yet. And the reason why is because if you're an OG, right, you're already rich. So go off and do your rich people things. Like go buy your Lambos and your mansions, go on your vacation.
Like everyone complaining is broke. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, no, but no. So if you're a pleb like myself, now's really the time where you can cover some serious ground. You could rack up those T-shares. We're down over 90%. You can start closing the gap between yourself and those people that got in early. It's such an opportunity. It's such a win-win. Like I don't understand why people are complaining. And not only that, you get everything copied over onto the PulseChain. Once PulseChain launches, you have to pick which chain you're gonna buy Hex on. But right now, you get it on both chains. So why is anyone complaining? OG, you're rich. Pleb, now's the time to get to work.
Yeah, I explained this the other day. The human psychology part that you really have to overcome for investing, delayed gratification, all that stuff is, we're at primitive instincts or feelings are we need to see other people do something and it be successful before we do it. Yep. Like, can you imagine like early humans like, oh, we're going to go eat this thing off the tree, but we're going to let somebody do that. And if they don't die, then we're going to eat it. But if they die, we know it's bad. So you can do that analogy for the markets too. It's like, oh, people only want to buy stuff when it's going up. They never want to buy it when it's crazy low. But to get that 10,000x, to do all these things it takes to invest really well, you need to like be it's not contrarian, but it's just like you have to realize like your own psychology and what you were born with and what helped our ancestors survive this world. And you have to be like, that's great for the natural world, but investing, the market psychology, the chart, totally different. You need to buy, of course, when you buy a scam, it can go to zero. But if there's a product that you're convinced is a good product, you've seen it do well before, we're in a market cycle, and you don't buy it when it's at the lowest, and you only buy it when it's going up, you reap what you sow. Like that's what's going to happen. You have to reverse that psychology in order to win these games.
So you said that when you interviewed me, and I don't think I gave that take the respect it deserved.
I know I said it sometime, but I was like, oh, it's funny enough.
I rewatched the interview and I saw you say that. I'm like, wow, that is such a good take because people, it's literally when it comes to crypto and stocks, it's so contrary to what people normally do in nature and even in life today. Like, for example, I guess quick example that would come to my mind is like, you don't want to go on this roller coaster until your friend goes on it or something and says it's not really that scary or whatever. And when it comes to crypto, it's the opposite. You don't want to wait till everyone gets in. You want to get in first. That is a very, very good. That's actually an unbelievable take. I really, really appreciate it.